Welcome back to the show. Iftikhar Murshid is a former special envoy to Afghanistan, and Eye of the Storm will be talking to him about how far the storm clouds over Afghanistan will reign in Pakistan. Welcome to the show, Mr. Murshid.
Pleasure being here.
My first question is, there is a strategy review underway in the US, and there are two camps, one in favor of a surge, the other in favor of more surgical strikes in cooperation with Pakistan. How far do you think Pakistan should get involved?
Now, what we have is that you have General McChrystal, who've asked for more troops. And inside the US also, you have opinion, public opinion. People are less and less inclined to support this war. In fact, in his assessment sent late last month, McChrystal even held out the possibility that unless there is a troop increase, the war in Afghanistan could be lost. There again, the complications are far more complicated. The problem is far more complicated than that. What we have is a division of opinion within the United States itself. There was a meeting about 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, where it was decided that, well, the sense of the meeting simply was that there wouldn't be a troop increase, but on the contrary, the present strength would be maintained and Afghan troops will be trained. But that's a tall order by itself. Right.
And that's a long term.
That's a long term. And what you have here, the figure that they're talking about is 240,000. And they hope to complete that by 2013. But there again, I feel that it is an impossibility.
But the US also wants Pakistan to get more involved.
Yes, it does. And that is where I think there should be more coordination between the United States and Pakistan. I think the sense is that it is considered basically two theaters in the same war. There is a kind of a symbiosis between what's happening in the tribal areas and what's happening inside Afghanistan. So there has got to be coordination between Pakistan and the United States.
But Pakistan is already helping the United States. Drone attacks are being conducted in the northwest.
Well, let's just put it another way. It is not really helping the United States. We are also helping ourselves. I mean, it's all very well to say that the war on terror is an American war, but look at it dispassionately. I think it is as much a threat to us. I mean, look at what's happened in Pakistan. In 2003, there were very few terrorist attacks. Last year, about 8,000 people died alone. Sooner we realized that we cannot act alone. We've got to act in concert with other players. There's got to be a coordination.
Do you think that Pakistan is not coordinating with the US enough?
We are. There's got to be more intelligence sharing. And I think...
Do you think the US is willing to share intelligence?
Take a look at what has happened as far as the drone attacks are concerned. We are on record as saying that enemy number one was Bayatullah Masood. How was he eliminated? He was eliminated through a drone strike. Now, they couldn't have acted alone. There must have been coordination. There must have been cooperation between the intelligence outfits of the two countries. So it's all, the feeling here, the emotion, national emotion is against drone strikes because that violates our sovereignty. But at the same time, that if you're fighting the same war, I think a justification can be made for it.
There's also a sense that the US is dumping its failures in Afghanistan on Pakistan.
I don't see how that conclusion can be...
They've been in Afghanistan for 8 years.
Yes.
And yet the Taliban are resurgent.
The Taliban are resurgent, and in fact, not only are they resurgent, they are ascendant. The question is, how do you contain this insurgency? How do you defeat this insurgency? What is the first step? Elections have been held, for instance, in Afghanistan. If you ask me, the elections have been a monumental disaster. Inasmuch it is, well, fraud tainted, everyone says, but how do you account for the deputy ambassador in the UN, I think Peter Galbraith, who resigned saying that 30% of the vote was fraudulent. So where do we stand here?
How do the elections complicate matters?
They complicate matters is what you need is a dispensation. Now, what dispensation will emerge from this election? Is it going to be credible? The Afghan problem is the quest for national cohesion in a multi-ethnic society. The earlier phase of Afghan history, you didn't have peace. Why didn't you have peace? It was Pashtun domination. Then after 2001, what did you have? You have the Karzai dispensation, excuse me, using the phrase that was literally parachuted from the wings of bombers onto Afghanistan. And this dispensation was heavily weighted in favor of the Tajiks. Now, you cannot balance a bottle by the neck. The bottle has got to be balanced by the base. It has got to be a Pashtun-based government.
But Karzai himself is a Pashtun.
Pashtun, yes, he is a Pashtun, but is he accepted by the Pashtuns? A homegrown system has got to emerge. It cannot be a made in Islamabad, a made in Washington, a made in London, a made in Moscow, a made in New Delhi solution. An Afghan dispensation has got to be with the will of the Afghan people, reflecting the ethnic map of the country.
Given this complex situation, what should Pakistan's policy be?
Pakistan's policy should be, I mean, first and foremost, look at it from the point of view of our goal. Our goal, our objective, should be the establishment of durable peace and stability in Afghanistan. It has got to be an indigenous process. Whatever emerges in Afghanistan has got to emerge through the will of the Afghan people. How do you go about that? Could it be elections? Could it be a lawyer jirga? Could it, whatever it is, Pakistan's policy should be a hands-off policy. We should forget about concepts such as strategic depth. I think what we need is an Afghan government that is first and foremost stable. You have a thinking in Islamabad, unfortunately, that the government should be friendly.
The Taliban are obviously stronger in the south of Afghanistan. And now there is a lot of media hype in the West about a Quetta Shura and striking, using drone strikes in Balochistan.
That will be, if drone strikes are carried out in Balochistan, that will be completely counterproductive. Now, as far as the Quetta Shura, where is it? The myth that has been propagated is that this Shura is headed by Mullah Umar. Is that true or is that not true? I mean, you have our authorities who are on record as saying that that is absolutely not true. Where Mullah Umar is could be anyone's guess.
Thank you for talking to us, Mr. Murshid.
It's been a pleasure being here.
That's all the time we have for this week on Eye of the Storm. If you have any questions, comments or feedback, do write into us at thestorm@dawnnews.tv. I'm Amber Shamsi. See you next week.